All right, everybody, say it with me now. It's Wednesday, my dudes. Ah!
It is Wednesday, my dudes.
Hello, I am your host, Miss Cosler, alongside Lady Gaga, and welcome to the Monsters Ball.
Talented, brilliant, incredible, amazing, show-stopping, spectacular, never the same, totally unique, completely not ever been done before, unafraid to reference or not reference, put it in a blender.
Hey guys, welcome back. Today is Wednesday, April 15th, and it is day 13 of At Home Learning. Today we're going to focus on analyzing the first half of Chapter 4 of Little Rock Girl 1957. But before we get started, I just wanted to share with you guys a big brain idea that I had. So now that our school closure is long-term, I realize how confusing it could be to try to catch up on the daily work if you have fallen behind. So you may have noticed if you've clicked the at-home learning information link on the homepage, you'll find two new items. The first is the complete text of Little Rock Girl 1957, the ebook, and links to the audiobook on both my MSDWT channel and my personal channel. The second is the grid of all of the at-home learning updates. So it occurred to me that because I use kind of a generic description and title for each of these updates, if you're trying to get caught up, it could be confusing and you might not know where to go to find information. Or the other reason that I make these videos is not because I think I'm awesome or because I'm trying to become a YouTuber, but because I want them available for you to watch again if you need to. That's the whole point, that they exist for you to review. So in this grid, you'll find the date that the show aired. She said show. Girl, slow down. You are not famous, okay? You'll find the date that each vlog was published, and you will find the links to the vlog on the MSDWT channel and my personal channel. You'll also have a brief description of the topic that was covered. So I'm not going to include descriptions of the assignments because that's the whole purpose of the written description on the day-to-day basis. You might not know, looking back, that mysteriously March 24th was the day we analyzed the text structure of Chapter 1. So the purpose of this page is just easier navigation, to know where you can find information if you need to get caught up or review certain topics. Yesterday we reviewed the reading we've done so far in Little Rock Girl 1957, and we were analyzing the text structure. As we've gone on so far in the book, the text structure has become a little bit more scattered. So we're going to head into Chapter 4, kind of a little bit critical of how it's set up. So after reading the first two sentences of Chapter 4, I'm still unclear as to whether this is written in narrative style or informational style. There do seem to be main characters, Will Counts, Elizabeth Eckford, but I'm not sure if it's going to tell me a story or not. I'm still a little unclear even through the entire second paragraph. It could be an introduction to a narrative, or it could be a segue into informational text. It isn't until we get to the third paragraph that it becomes clear to me which style of writing this is. So the third to fourth paragraph is when it becomes really clear to me that this is an informational text. It states the idea that every person should be able to get a basic education paid for by taxpayers arose early in the history of the United States. The nation's early leaders agreed that to succeed, a democratic form of government needs educated citizens, so they set up public schools. Information, no central character. Then in Chapter 4, and forgive the reach, I also only have a digital copy of this book with me. Throughout the world, a good education had usually been reserved for a small group of people, typically boys from wealthy white families. In some cultures, girls, members of minority groups, and poor people didn't get formal educations at all. Many lived their whole lives without knowing how to read or write. Okay. So that's when it becomes clear to me. It's not telling me a story, there's no central character, and I'm learning things. It's something I kind of already knew, but it's reinforcing some ideas I had. So this tells me that I'm reading an informational text. There's no description, no dialogue, just facts. But in terms of structure, it is paragraph 5 where I get thrown for a whole loop, okay? But in the United States, public education became a cornerstone of community life. Many white children attended elementary school in the 1800s. Time out, hold the phone, stop the presses. 1800? But in the last chapter, we ended in like 1997. Now we're back in 1800? But okay. All right, I'll see where you're going with this. I'll let it go. So this chapter goes back and goes through the history of education in this country and the inequalities that existed for white students and African American students. It outlines how segregated schools were not only unequal, although they were protected by Plessy versus Ferguson. It also shows how segregated school systems were actually a drain on the economy and a waste of resources. When you think about it, it takes a lot of our resources to support one school system. Imagine trying to support 2 on tax money collected from citizens. That is a strain. Now here's part 1 of my rant, to be continued tomorrow. I understand that this first half of the chapter is giving me some important background information, and I find it really valuable, and I'm not gonna lie that it introduced some information and ideas that I'd never thought about before. But I'm curious why I'm getting this information at the beginning of the last chapter of the book. Call me crazy. Wouldn't it have made just a little bit more sense to include this information maybe back in chapter 2 when we learned about the history of Jim Crow and segregation? I don't know. Again, I understand at this point that Shelley Tugas was going more concept-based in how she set up her chapters rather than chronologically, but as a reader, I'm not okay with this. This don't sit right with me. What are your thoughts on this first half of chapter 4 and how the book is structured overall? Does this make sense to you? Does it fit? Or, in the words of Tatiana,
we all make choices, but that was a choice. Choices.
Choices were made that had an impact on the book overall. Share your thoughts in the chapter 4 discussion thread. So tomorrow, we'll finish analyzing chapter 4. And then, since we'll have finished the entire text, we'll kind of look at the structure overall and analyze that as well. To close the book on today, is that even a joke? Not punny. So let's just review what we have going on in terms of learning activities and assessments. The number 1 priority is tomorrow, Thursday, April 16th, you and your family should order either delivery or curbside takeout from the Noodles & Company in Castleton to help support Northview Avid. 50% of the proceeds from your order will come back to our Avid program, which will impact you, those of you who are applying, next year. Wait a minute, so you're saying I can't force them to order noodles? Okay. Just kidding, but do consider it. No, but seriously guys, tomorrow is the last day to take your quiz over chapters 1 and 2. I've encouraged you to wait to take it until you're ready. Please don't forget it though. Remember that you are expected to take it in one sitting. You do have a whole hour and 45 minutes to take it, and you may use the text. It's available with this post, and additionally, it is available in the quizzes tab on Canvas. Keep your brains fresh, keep reading 20 minutes every day if you can. Mrs. Ritz is putting out a segment called Reading Corner that has some ideas of ways you can access books from home, whether that is ebooks or audiobooks. So if you've run out of things to read at home, feel free to reread books or check out some of those online resources. Some of those book apps and websites that you asked me about when we were in school, and I was like, oh no. Now would be a great time to explore those for your reading log. If you've got a good library like myself, just keep reading those books. Your purple reading log is not due until April 24th, so work on that, but know that it is not due this week. Also, a reminder that our assigned IXL this week, our required skill is G2, and our optional extra credit is J2. Do keep on your radar for way down the line that the Create Your Future project is something we are working on, but it is not due until Friday, May 1st. Please feel free to reach out if you have questions, whether that means messaging me or dropping by office hours, or if you want a little more individualized help, feel free to schedule an appointment with me during my early office hours. And I think that's really it for today. Remember, my little darlings, Mother Monster loves you. I hope you're well. I miss you, and take care.